I am Dr. Ray Dykes, and this is the Personal Faith Program. This is a series of podcasts on personal faith with a passion, how to know what you really believe. This podcast is on chaos and evil. Did the devil do it? There are earthquakes, volcanoes, floods, and hurricanes. Cancer, multiple sclerosis, and autoimmune diseases are a reality. Big airplanes blow out of the sky or crash into tall buildings, and big ocean liners sink to the bottom. Good people suffer and die, and we ask why. Is chaos in the world for a purpose, or does it just happen? How does God relate to this discussion? What is evil, and where does it come from? In this podcast, you'll find some of the common definitions of evil, leading you to ask the central questions that spiritual people ponder about the nature of evil. For instance, what causes human beings to do evil? Was evil created by God? Have you ever been evil? How is evil different from bad? Do you believe in a personal devil, or is that character a symbol of temptation or evil? Did you know that most of what American Christianity believes about the devil comes from Dante's Inferno and Milton's Paradise Lost, not from the Bible? That nowhere in the Bible do the words devil and hell occur in the same sentence? That the word Satan Satan is a Persian word originally? That Satan transliterated from Persian into Hebrew means the tempter? That Satan and the anger of the Lord are used to mean the same thing in one repeated passage in the Hebrew Bible from 2 Samuel 24:1 and 1 Chronicles 24:21:1. Did you know that in the prologue of Job, Satan shows up in the heavenly court of the Lord along with the other sons of God? That in the gospel accounts of the temptation of Jesus, Mark refers to Satan, Luke to the devil, and Matthew refers to the devil, the tempter, and Satan. The devil has a history. There was no concept of a devil as an adversary of God in ancient Hebrew thought. Prior to 500 BCE, there was no concept of an adversary of God in any major religion in the world. In Hebrew thought, God is one, and there is no other immortal being with superhuman powers permitted. That's what a God is, an immortal being with superhuman powers. As you saw in a previous podcast, Zoroaster taught that everything was split into two, a thoroughgoing dualism. Until about 550 BCE, all religions had taught that all reality came together into the one. But Zoroaster said that there was a good god named Ahura Mazda and a bad god named Angra Mainyu. Both of these gods had 6 lieutenants. Mithras was one of the lieutenants on the good side, and Satan was one on the bad side. Mithras was a human divine savior figure, and Satan was the embodiment of temptation. In addition, the good side had legions of angels, and the bad side had hordes of devils or demons. The idea was that there was a constant cosmic battle going on between the forces of good and the forces of evil. This idea caught the imagination of the people of the Middle East, particularly after Persia, under Cyrus the Great, conquered the Fertile Crescent in the last half of the 6th century BCE. The Jews in captivity in Babylon were freed by Cyrus to go back to Jerusalem in 539 BCE. Hebrew thought was seriously affected by Zoroastrianism, as we see, for example, in the prologue to the book of Job, where Satan is pictured as God's prosecuting attorney, roaming the earth and reporting on who is naughty and nice. By the time of Jesus, Persian thought had been brought into Greek thought by way of Gnosticism. When the New Testament was written, Greek thought forms and Hebrew thought forms were competing for priority. In Matthew, Hebrew thought forms win by a slight majority. But in Mark, Luke, John, and in the writings of Paul, Greek thought is predominant. Revelation is especially Greek in thought and is the main source of our information about the devil. There are a few important questions to deal with relative to the devil. Was evil created by God in the beginning, or did God only create the potential for evil? Do you believe literally in the evil one, also known as devil, Satan, Lucifer, Beelzebub, or Beelzebul? If so, is this being the source of all evil? If you believe literally in the devil, do you see the devil as an evil God? People have asked me, can I have a third category other than human or divine? If you want one, you can have one. Conventional wisdom is that every personal being is either human or divine. If you see angels as being factual angels, and you've experienced that, no one can deny it. So you'll have to make yourself a third category unless you want to put angels and demons and devils in the God category. At which point you have to admit you're polytheistic and then say, I don't believe in one God. Do you believe there's a constant cosmic battle taking place between the forces of good and the forces of evil? The followers of Zoroaster have believed that for over 2,500 years. The Jewish sect known as Essenes believed that there would be such a battle one day. Many Christians, influenced by the book of Revelation and so-called Bible prophets, believe in a final battle between the army of Christ and the army of the Antichrist, and they call it the Battle of Armageddon. They believe that this will signal the end of the world. Let me give you an option on that one. The option is that this battle may be universal or final in the sense that it happens to every individual. My Battle of Armageddon was fought within me. I believe the Battle of Armageddon is fought within the hearts of every human being. That's what makes it universal, because this is so universally individualistic. It's cosmic. There's a problem of the difference between bad and evil. Let's distinguish between bad and evil. For example, somebody is driving down the street and gets distracted and hits another car and someone is injured. That's bad, isn't it? Is it evil? Timothy McVeigh made up his mind that he was going to get even with the federal government for what they did at Waco to the Branch Davidians. He blew up the Murrah building in Oklahoma City and killed babies and innocent women and men. That's evil. Well, why is it evil? Because he deliberately intended to do it. Deliberate intention has to be a key part of the definition of evil. Al-Qaeda and Osama bin Laden are committed to terrorist acts around the world. Of course, we know about members of Al-Qaeda crashing commercial airliners into the World Trade Center and the Pentagon, killing over 3,000 civilians and some military personnel. It was a despicable act of evil carried out with the intention of killing innocent people and terrorizing a nation. Have you ever done evil? Have you ever hurt another person emotionally or physically other than in a declared war with malice aforethought, deliberately intending to hurt that person? Another easier question is, have you ever done bad? Oh yeah, we all know what bad is. Evil is a harder question, isn't it? The devil made me do it, some people say. I couldn't help it. Yeah, they plead temporary insanity, right? How does your concept of evil fit with your concept of God? Bad things happen to us when people make decisions that affect us negatively. Bad things happen to us when we make bad decisions. Bad things happen to us when chaos exists in nature. Is chaos caused by God, or is chaos simply a matter of randomness? Is there randomness in the universe? Does your concept of God allow for randomness? That is to say, does God direct every tornado, every hurricane? Does God micromanage the universe or not? Does God cause every earthquake that happens? Does God cause every mudslide that takes place? Does God cause these catastrophes that take place? Is there chaos built within the universe because we need chaos in order to be able to recognize order, or because chaos and order are both integral for the functioning of the universe? Is cancer caused by God, or is cancer caused by the chaos, the chaotic division of cells? Is chaos a part of life and a part of the universe and a part of the will of God as you understand the will of God? Are you willing to accept the notion of chaos in your theology, or is that too threatening? It can be very threatening. Yet, chaos is a major faith issue, especially if it's experienced in the context of how you view good and bad and evil. If you're going to be close to God, you're going to experience change because there's lots of change involved in being close to God. What happened to Moses when he got close to God on the mountain? He had to make a big change. Being close to God involves change if you believe God is dynamic. Moses' experience of the burning bush is an example of feeling God's presence at close range and being challenged to do what you never wanted to do or expected to do. That's a prototypical worship service, by the way. If you attend a worship service, you ought to go in and take your shoes off like Moses did and expect to be challenged. These are big faith issues, worthy of the time you should spend considering them. Use the straw and process the clay to make belief bricks that you can use on a daily basis as you exercise your conscious faith. See you next time.